long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
So the finale of Bad Batch was actually really good. 49 minutes long, and it was a well-written story. The animation, of course, is great, but there's so much in it that I want to talk about. This will be a spoiler. If you haven't seen it, stop here, go back and watch it, and then come back. So we've got Hunter, Wrecker, and Crosshair stuck in the middle of the jungle surrounding Mount Tantus, being searched for by Hemlock's stormtroopers who have captured Admiral Rampart. And that's where we start out. They're out there. There's all kinds of creepy, weird animals, etc., running around. And Wrecker's kind of hurt. So they're not moving as fast as they could. And that's fine. Echo is on the base already. And he's doing stuff. Echo is discovered by Dr. Emery. And they both fall in line and team up to get into the place where the kids are. Meanwhile, Omega has her escape plan. They use the droid that's in the lab with them to put the other doctor, whose name I can't remember, not important, out with a needle on the droid, and they escape up through the hollow walls. Okay, so when they escape, that's when all hell's breaking loose. Rampart's got the place on lockdown, or Hemlock has got the place on lockdown, and he's a very hubris-filled fuckstick, okay, and you don't have to like him. I thought Hemlock was a lot like Director Krennic, very hubris-filled, definitely not self-aware or humble in any way, shape, or form. Basically, he's one of those scientists that you run into that thinks he's God, okay? He knows so much, but none of it, in the end, helps him, okay? And it's very interesting how they go about with him, because every time he does something he thinks is going to help him defeat the clones, it doesn't work, okay? And that includes bringing up a bunch of, if you remember Garak from Ahsoka, a bunch of things like that to fight the Bad Batch. And they're clones too. And while they're great fighters, I think they're probably Project Necromancer or a step towards it. And I'll talk about Project Necromancer in a second. So we know that Project Necromancer is mentioned in Mandalorian Season 3. And it's also mentioned here. Now, what is it? I don't know if it actually has anything to do with creating Snoke, okay? And if it does, it's not the same research that's Kaminoan, okay? So I don't know how they're going to revive it. And I really don't want to tell you guys right now how it ends up until the second part of the video, because it's really, I didn't think it was going to go that way. And I didn't think what would happen was going to happen. But when it did, I just started laughing, and this guy's toast.
Master?
I didn't expect to see you so soon.
Anakin.
So while Wrecker and Hunter and Crosshair are making their way to Tantus, Omega forms an idea, uses a tool she stole from a medical kit. And what they do is she uses the droid that's like overseeing them as a distraction, knocks out the doctor that was kind of guarding them, and they go up through the wall. That was her thing. They get out, and they're by this area where there's water and something to keep something down. And what that is a Zillo Beast. If you remember the Zillo Beast from Clone Wars, at the very end of that episode, Palpatine's watching them carry the Zillo Beast away with this look of, he's like a frog that just ate a fly, okay? Zillo Beast's skin is imperious or cannot be penetrated by blaster fire, okay? And it's literally almost indestructible, which makes me kind of wonder why does he have a Zillo Beast? What is going on here? And you've got that going on. And you got to wonder what the Zillo Beast has to do with Project Necromancer, if it has anything to do with Palpatine, Snoke, etc. And it doesn't, okay? There's a distraction, Omega goes, unleashes it, and it totally destroys the whole area. It kills it destroys 2 divisions of stormtroopers, and that's what's going on. So Admiral Rampart is captured. He's dragged into Tantus. He's rescued by Echo and the Bad Batch, and they all scatter. He follows Nala Se and demands to see the lab. He wants to really know what Project Necromancer is, because he's going to use it for his life. And he's got Nala Se with him. Rampart knows the Emperor will not let him live. Okay. Rampart knows that he doesn't have really anything to bargain with unless it's Nala Se's and the Kaminoan research. Nala Se, as she's being held at gunpoint, has a thermal detonator in her hands. Okay. So they're doing this crosstalk, and Rampart decides, I've got all of it. Now I know what Omega's for. Blah, blah, blah. And we really don't yet. And he shoots her. She drops the triggered, it's like pulling the pin, press, the button on the thermal detonator, and the entire lab is wiped out. All of her research, everything. Now, the mystery of Omega can never be revealed unless there's a backup, okay? If there's a backup, whatever it is, it might not be all of it. So basically, the Kaminoan cloning research is gone. Now let's talk about Dr. Hemlock. Hemlock doesn't realize that Emery has allied herself with the Bad Batch, Echo, etc. And she is helping them escape. She basically takes off with the other kids while Omega goes with Echo to save the guys. What happens is Echo and Omega free the clones, and that's how they freed Admiral Rampart, who ends up with Nala Sue and being basically, blown into smithereens and disintegrated. Amory is a key here, but let's talk about Hemlock. Hemlock ends up falling for a trick the Bad Batch would play. He grabs Omega after a big fight in the arena where he would force clones under torture to do things. And after a fight with what looks to be the beginnings of Death Troopers, those guys that are they look like ninjas. And if you remember Garak from Ahsoka, that's what they are. So what happens is Hemlock is dragging Omega away. The guys follow him, and Hemlock has got Omega with an arm thing on her wrist, handcuffed to him, is threatening to throw her over the side along with himself. And Omega's still got that tool that she'd stolen from the medical kit that absolutely no one looked to see if it was missing. And if I remember, it was the other doctor, not Emery. And Omega stabs him with it. He flings her away, and Crosshair kills him. They all escape at the end, and they end up on that planet that they were using as a refuge. And that's the end. But what I want to ask, and I want you guys to think about, is what does it mean if the Kaminoan cloning science is all gone? Remember, the Empire blew the entire facility up on Kamino. Now, Nala Sue protected her research by blowing it up. The facility at Mount Tantus is gone. When Grand Moff Tarkin lands, Governor Tarkin, he is told that Hemlock is dead, the facility is in ruin, none of the research has been, and none of the science that they've discovered has been preserved. It's all destroyed. What does he say? Get ready for it. All funding for this facility will be turned to Project Stardust. Now cue the Imperial March. This is Steph signing out. I'll see you around the galaxy.